what makes a vampire novel? This was something I was thinking about when I started collecting vampire books. If you've seen my Instagram recently, I put up a photo on there of what my bookshelf currently looks like, and the first two shelves are full of vampire books. But this does kind of beg the question, what do you classify as a vampire novel, though? Now, for everyone, obviously, this is going to be a different response because, it's subjective. Everyone has their own idea as to what a witch book is, or what a zombie book is, or what a vampire book is. So this video is an attempt to explain what I think constitutes a vampire novel. So this, along with the video I already did put up a little while ago about how I read and review books, should give you an idea as to why some videos I rated higher or lower than others, in case that was something you were confused by. For me, to classify a book as a vampire novel, you would have to look at how exactly vampires influence the story and the world as a whole. So, for example, the protagonist of the story, or if they're like a strong supporting character, or if they're a love interest, or if they're the villain. Any of those, so long as they have a prominent role in the story, could make that book, in my eyes, classified as vampire fiction, or a vampire novel, or whatever. Another way I personally would classify it is even if there aren't any prominent characters in the book that are vampires, if there is anything in the background of the world that is strongly affected by vampires in some manner, and that has an influence on the story to a degree, then I would also classify that as a piece of vampire fiction. Now, what I don't classify as vampire fiction in any way is if there isn't any vampiric being in general that doesn't have an influence on the story or the world in some way, or at least not enough to be really noticeable. So, like, if a character mentions that there's a vampire or vampires, but you never see anything related to that at all, whether it's characters, world building, or whatever, I don't classify that as such. If you were to do that, technically, one of the Harry Potter books would be a vampire book because there's one mention of a vampire in it. The same thing would be for, like, some of the books in the Dresden Files, for example. There might be one or two books in that series that has a focus on vampires, which would technically classify them as a vampire novel. But the rest of the books in the series, it's not that major of a thing. So I might not classify most of those books as vampire novels as a result. Again, this is just my opinion, just how I classify vampire fiction and vampire novels personally. But there are some people out there that quite literally anything that mentions vampires whatsoever, even if it's only like one word or one line, they would consider it as such. I don't, and personally I think that'd be a waste of space on my bookshelf, but, to each their own. What I would like to know is, what, in your opinion, serves as vampire fiction? Is it the same as what I have stated? Is it literally anything that mentions vampires? Like, I'm really curious to see different points of view on this. And with that, I would like to thank you for watching this video today, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!